We all forget things. We forget where we put our car keys, we forget our wedding anniversaries, and some of us might even forget to pick up the kids from school. And there are valid reasons we forget things. Our brains were not designed to cope with the incredibly complex modern world that we live in. That's why we have things like smartphones and computers to reduce our dependency on our unreliable memories. And this problem doesn't go away in the training room. When we depend too heavily on our trainees remembering things, we are going to have big problems. And in this video, I'm going to show you 7 reasons why people are very likely to forget things. If you'd like to know more about what to do instead, then check out my next video on remember versus use. So let's have a look at why people will forget things. Number 1. Poor encoding. In order to remember something, we need to first save it in our memory. We call this process encoding. But when it doesn't get encoded in the first place, there is no chance of remembering it. And a typical reason for poor encoding in corporate training is people being busy. Numerous times I've seen people called out of the training room to attend an urgent meeting, or they've been distracted by phone calls or emails, or they may have been in the room physically, but mentally they are elsewhere, focusing on more pressing issues. There are so many reasons knowledge won't get encoded in the first place that I could go on and on, but I think you get the point. So on to the next reason. Number 2, wrong encoding. You want to learn how to use Photoshop. So you watch a video all about the various functions and features of Photoshop. You find it interesting and take lots of notes, but afterwards you still don't know how to use it. That video gave you the wrong kind of knowledge. It told you all about the functions and features, whereas what you need to know to use it are procedures and habits. You need to know what buttons to press, and in what order. When we learn the wrong kind of knowledge, remembering it is pointless. Number 3. No contextual encoding. Sam went to a self-defense class. His instructor taught him how to fight in a safe environment. Cool, Sam thought. Now I know how to defend myself. But there's a problem. When Sam has to fight in real life, his opponent is much, much faster than anyone he practiced with. Sam had poor contextual encoding. If he wanted to learn how to defend himself in real life, then his partner should have fought like people do in real life. Number 4. Lack of reinforcement. Encoding is just one part of memory. The other part is actually recalling information. And in order to strengthen a memory, it needs to be recalled frequently, otherwise it disappears. And so maybe the memory was encoded well during the training, but then when they got back to work, they got busy. They didn't have enough time to practice or review what they learned. And after just a few weeks, sometimes even days, they forgot everything. Learning is a bit like a path in a grassy field. Tread it once and the grass will grow back. We need to keep treading through the grass until the grass doesn't grow over our path anymore. Number 5. Overriding habits. Ever tried to switch from Windows to a Mac? Out of habit, you move the mouse to the bottom left-hand corner to click the start button, but oops, not on a Mac. Overriding habits are powerful and take a lot of effort to overcome. If the thing you learn conflicts with something similar, then it will take a lot of effort to override those old habits. And at the beginning, the old habits will definitely win. Number 6. Lack of cognitive capacity. Do you remember when you first learned how to drive and how much concentration it took? Everything took so much effort because you hadn't got used to it yet. And when you first learn anything, it takes a lot of effort. Eventually, your brain gets so good at recalling things that you can put your concentration elsewhere. But when something requires so much effort to apply, and people don't have enough energy to apply it at the time of need, then they won't apply it. I call this concept the energy budget. And this is a big problem in the corporate world. When people are so busy and stressed and distracted, they only have enough energy to learn small, simple things. If they have any energy at all, that is. Number 7. Distraction in process. When ATMs first came around, the card would come out before the money. And if you got distracted by a passing friend as soon as the card came out, then you might have forgotten to pick up your money. Being able to recall things doesn't matter if we're easily distracted at the time. And again, this is a massive problem in the corporate world, where people are constantly distracted by incoming phone calls and emails, and so on. So when we depend too heavily on people remembering lots from our training, we are setting ourselves up for failure. There are too many reasons they will forget. So what should we do instead? Well, if you'd like to know more about what to do instead, then check out my next video on remember versus use.